What's up guys, I'm Andy from 1A Auto. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the water pump in this 2001 BMW 325Xi. If you need this part or other parts for your vehicle, click the link in the description and head over to 1AAuto.com. With the trunk open, over on the right side or the passenger side, there should be a cover that goes right here. This vehicle doesn't have one, but you're going to want to remove that cover. Battery is located right here. First thing I'm going to do is take a 10mm socket and a ratchet, loosen up this nut for the negative terminal, and that's loose. Slide off the cable, slide it out of the way. I'm going to take these push pins out right here. Just going to use some side cutters, get this center pin, pull that up, and then slide it out. Be careful not to cut that. Get those out. Just grab this piece, slide it out. We're going to disconnect this connector right here. Just push down on that, slide that out. There's another connector right here. I'm going to slide the wiring out first, just like that, and then the connector will come out. Just slide that to the side, like that. I'm going to take a T25 and a ratchet, take this screw out right here. Just going to use this trim tool from 1AAuto.com. Take this push clip out, get in there, pull that out. All right, now that is loose, but what we need to do is we need to take the fan off, because the fan has to come out with the shroud as one. What we need to do to take the fan off is we need to disconnect the fan clutch from the engine side. This is attached to one of the pulleys right there. So sometimes these are somewhat difficult to get off, so what we're going to do is use this tool. We actually sell this at 1AAuto.com with many different sizes. This happens to be the 32mm. That's going to slide on there, and then we slide this on, and with a pneumatic air hammer, we're going to give it a couple bumps, and it's going to loosen up that nut, and we should be able to get it off. All right, so now I'm going to take the tool. Now this fan clutch happens to be on their reverse thread, so it's going to seem like you're tightening it, but you're actually loosening it. So we'll go like that. Put our air hammer on there, make sure you wear hearing protection and eye protection. All right, so that's loose. Took a little bit of effort, but I got it. Now you can slide the tool off. I'll just move it a little bit. There we go. And you should be able to just spin it off like that. You might need the tool once in a while. Or you could use a wrench that fits 32mm wrench. All right, now I'm just going to keep loosening this up. Be careful, you don't want the fan to fall. You don't want it to smash into the radiator, especially if you're going to reuse the radiator. If you're replacing it, it's not a big deal. So as I get closer to the end, I'll just move the fan and just grab the blade. And there we go. Now I can slide this right up, just like that. Just gonna disconnect this connector to the mass airflow sensor, push down on this tab, wiggle it out. Take a straight blade screwdriver, loosen up this clamp right here. Should be good. Can push that snorkel off right there. And there's all these clips holding the top of the airbox off. I'm just going to take the top off. And this last one over here, it's kind of tricky to get to. Pull the dipstick out of the way. You just grab the airbox, the air filter out. I'm going to take these two bolts out. I'm going to use a 10mm socket extension and an electric ratchet. You can use a regular ratchet if you don't have an electric one or an air-powered one. Loosen them up, take them out. Now we just grab the air box, slide it up. This wire is on this little grommet right here. Just try to slide that out. Just try to slide this off. All right, take that off. You can just slide this out of the way. I'm gonna pull this fill cap off before we drain the coolant. Make sure the engine is cold. You don't wanna take this off while the engine's hot or you're gonna get splashed in the face with coolant. Pull that off. And now we can raise the vehicle and drain the coolant. Underneath the vehicle, there may be a cover right here. You're gonna have to remove it. There should be some fasteners there, and there, and there. And then also back there. This vehicle doesn't have it, so we're just gonna start right here. I need to loosen up this drain right here. This radiator is not the original radiator, so I believe you're gonna have a different size socket to use if you have the OEM radiator. For this one, it's a 22mm socket. I'm gonna use an extension and a ratchet. Loosen this up. Make sure you put a drain bucket underneath. Just gonna remove this. And there we go. Look at that coolant looks nasty. To help the coolant drain out a little faster, I'm gonna open this bleeder screw right here. Just use a straight blade screwdriver. Loosen this up. All right, now we wanna remove this side from the radiator. I'm just gonna take a straight blade screwdriver, slide up under this retaining clip right there, and then there's also one right here. Just like that. I can just grab this hose and just wiggle it a little bit. All right, pry that off. That's good. Now I'll take the screwdriver, just take this hose off completely, and slide the clip out. Just wiggle this back and forth, pull it out. Disconnect this connector right here. Just push on that. Slide it out. Make sure you have your drain bucket underneath, and I'm gonna pop this hose off. Just use a pick, slide up on the lock, and grab the hose and try to wiggle it out. All right. Just a little bit of coolant, not too much. Now we're gonna take this part of the hose off right here and just use a straight blade screwdriver or a pick. Pull the retainer out. You don't have to pop this off completely. Just happen to do that. And just grab it and wiggle it down. There we go. Slide it down and slide it out. Before we take the belt off, it's gonna be easier to remove these bolts. You don't wanna remove them completely, we just wanna loosen them up. So I'm just gonna take a 10mm wrench, just loosen these bolts up. I'm gonna take a 16mm socket and a ratchet, and I want it on tightening. I'm gonna go down here and get on the tensioner. Right there, you could use a serpentine belt tool as well. And then I can loosen up the belt just like that. So I can loosen it by pushing it to the right, just like that, almost like I'm tightening a bolt. That's how it looks from underneath. With that loosened up, I can grab the belt and slide it off the crank and then slide it off the AC compressor. And there's the belt. I'm gonna take this serpentine belt off. What I'm gonna need is a hex key. This happens to be a 5mm hex key. And I'm gonna use this 16mm socket and a ratchet. Put the ratchet on tighten. And then right here on the tensioner, there's a little area you can put the socket, and then you're gonna tighten it like you're tightening a bolt. That's gonna loosen up the tension on the belt. You can take this hex key and slide it in that position. That's gonna lock the tensioner. Let that go. We can grab the belt, slide it off the idler, slide it off the alternator, right there. We can pull our socket away, pull it off the water pump, off the tensioner, off the crank, and off the power steering pump. Just like that. All right, so now I'm gonna take these bolts out. I had loosened them before we took the belt off, so they're all loose. If they're still tight for you, just loosen them up with the wrench. Take these out. Slide the pulley off. This one's rusted on there a little bit. Just gonna take a little hammer, give it a little tap. Now we're replacing the water pump, so this isn't a big deal. You probably want to be careful doing this if you were not replacing the water pump. There we go. Came right off. So I want to remove these 4 nuts. Right there, right there, right there, and right there. We're just going to take a 10mm socket and a ratchet. Take these off. When we take these off, I'm still going to have the drain bucket underneath here in case any coolant comes out. Loosen them all up first, and then take them off by hand. All right, take that last nut off. So there's 2 holes on the side of the water pump that are threaded. I'm just going to take some brake parts cleaner, spray it in those holes, clean them out. They're pretty dirty, because that's how we're going to remove the water pump. So I'm going to take 2 bolts. If you want to know the size of the bolts, you can take one of the nuts that you took off the water pump and see if it threads into those bolts, and that should work. So we'll take those and thread one in on this side and then one in the other hole. Then depending on what size your bolts are, I have a 10mm socket I'm going to use and a ratchet. And I'm just going to tighten them down evenly, side to side. Make sure you have your drain bucket underneath, because some more coolant's going to come out. As you tighten these down, it's going to push the pump out. Just like that. Just go back and forth. At some point you'll be able to rock it and just slide it out. And there's the pump. Here's the old part. Here's the new water pump from oneauto.com. It is machined the same as the old one. The impeller is metal on the new one, so it's going to last longer than the plastic one. Face is the same. There's a little protector on here for shipping, so this doesn't get damaged. You can take that off. Get yours at oneauto.com and you'll be ready to rock and roll. All right, I'm just gonna clean this up with a little brake parts cleaner, just the area right here, and a scuff pad, a very non-abrasive scuff pad. You don't wanna make any big scratches. Just take a rag, clean that up. The water pump has this O-ring right here. I am gonna use some white lithium grease. This is just personal preference. You don't have to do this, but I feel like it's gonna make the seal go in there a little easier. So if you put a little white lithium grease around here, that'll prevent the seal from rolling, and it's gonna be okay in the coolant system. Now take the water pump. Now this little spot right there, that is gonna go facing down. That's just a freeze plug. So that will be facing down. Slide the water pump in. Just rock it back and forth a little bit and slip in it. Take the nuts, install the nuts. Now I'm going to torque these with a torque wrench and a 10mm socket. I'm going to tighten these to 84 inch-pounds. Make sure you're on inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. I'm just going to do it in a cross pattern. It doesn't matter though. And we're good. Just gonna take the pulley and just take a little scuff pad. Just clean this rust out. You can take a little sandpaper. This really isn't too bad, but just to get a little bit of that out. We want to line these bolt holes up with the holes on the actual water pump. Now, if you have the bolt holes like that, those are closer together. You have to have the pulley like that. Otherwise, if you have them further apart, we'll hold the pulley like that, line that up. Take the bolts, get one started, get the other one started. And then I'm going to tighten these down with a 10mm socket and a torque wrench. I'm going to torque these to 89 inch-pounds. You can use a screwdriver to prevent the pulley from spinning. Just line it up in between one of the bolts and the shaft of the pump. Or you can install the belt and try to hold it that way, but this works as well. We're going to take the belt, slide it over the crank pulley down below, and then with this other side, go over the power steering pump pulley over there. And then it's going to come around on the tensioner side, on the tensioner pulley, just like that. We'll go over the water pump. We'll go over the alternator over here, just like this. And then we want to go below the idler pulley. Now we're going to have to put the socket and the ratchet on the tensioner and relieve some of the tension to get that all the way on. So I'm going to take the 16mm socket and the ratchet, and then we need to have this on tighten. So we're going to loosen the tension on this, slide the belt underneath there, make sure that's all lined up. When that's all lined up, then I can pull this pin out of the tensioner and let it go. Double check your belt, go around all the pulleys, make sure it didn't pop off down in the power steering pump or the alternator. It looks good. It's going to be a little bit easier to install the belt from underneath, so we're going to do that. Just take the belt, slide it over the AC compressor, and slide it over the pulley for the tensioner, and then over the crank pulley. Make sure these are all lined up, and that's good, just like that. Make sure those are good. Take a 16mm socket and a ratchet, slide it into the tensioner, relieve the pressure, and slide this pin out. Or if you used a hex key, pull that hex key out. Double check that. Looks like everything's lined up. We're good to go. I'll take the hose, slide it in position, and just lock it in place on the lower radiator hose right there. It'll lock in place. Take the connector, line it up, lock that in place. You can take the upper portion of the hose and slide it over here, and lock it in place. All right, take this pipe, this upper hose, and just line that up right there, lock it in place, and then over here, line this up over here, and just wiggle it a little bit. Lock that in place. Make sure this reservoir is locked in too. That's good. So these have to go on together. Just slide this in position. Once you get this close, I'm going to start to tighten up the fan. Now these fan blades are, the fan clutch is reverse thread, so it's almost like you're going to be loosening it. There's really no easy way to do this, just do it carefully. Once you get it started, it's a little bit easier. Make sure the fan shroud is in properly. That's good. All right, if you have the ability to torque this nut for the fan, you're gonna torque that between 22 and 29 foot-pounds. I don't really have that ability, so I'm just gonna put this tool on there and just give it a little tap. That should be good. Right here is a push pin. It's gonna go back in here. Slide that in position. And lock it down. And on this side, we're gonna put this screw right here. Then I'm gonna use a T25 and a electric ratchet. Tighten this down. Just snug. I'll position this wiring harness right here, and we'll plug the connector in right here. Lock that in place. Now we're just going to slide this side of the lower airbox in here. Yours may have something that this connects to. This vehicle doesn't. Just slides in position, and then this lower part slides there, and make sure these holes are lined up. Take these two bolts, get these started. Take a 10mm socket and a ratchet and tighten these down. I'm using an electric ratchet. If you don't have an electric ratchet, just use a manual one. Take the air filter and install it. I'll take the top part of the airbox. I'm going to slide it onto the snorkel first. Just like that. And then there's all these clips. Take these clips, lock this part down, connect the mass airflow sensor or airflow meter. And we're gonna slide this clamp right here. Take a straight blade screwdriver and tighten it down. Just snug, not too tight. Give it a shake, make sure it's good. Take this piece, slide this into the airbox, just like that. And there's retainers right here. Take those push pins, and lock them down. Then we can take the negative side, connect the negative side. Take the same 10mm socket and ratchet, tighten it up. That's good. At this point, if you had that cover, you're going to want to put the cover back where it goes. When adding the coolant, we're going to use a funnel, and you want to make sure you add the appropriate type of coolant. You can check your owner's manual. There is BMW specific coolant. Generally it's blue coolant. So we're going to fill up the reservoir. We're going to take this bleeder screw out. Just use a straight blade screwdriver or a Phillips head. Just move that funnel. You could probably just loosen this up a little bit, or you can take it all the way out. Just like that, set it aside. You want to fill this all the way up to the top and have coolant come bubbling out of the bleeder hole. Once it's coming out of there, we're going to reinstall the bleeder screw. It is plastic, so be careful, you don't want to strip this. Get this started again. Then close that bleeder screw. And then you're going to adjust the level in here. Now there is a little dipstick in here. When this is full, this is going to be all the way at the top. Now you can check it right here. It shows where the min and the max is, so you want to adjust that accordingly. You can add coolant or take out coolant. You can use like a turkey baster or some type of fluid pump to suck the fluid out. Then you want to let it run. You want to leave the heat on. When you leave the heat on, if you don't have heat, you're going to want to crack this open a little bit and just make sure you get some of the coolant out. It's probably a good idea to shut the engine off, let it cool down, and readjust your coolant. When you're done, when the fluid level's at the appropriate level, take the cap, put it back on. Make sure you monitor your temp gauge while you're running the vehicle. If you run the vehicle for about 10 minutes, the temp gauge should go right in the middle there. If it starts going to the red, shut the vehicle off and start over. Bleed the system again.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.